So a quick turnaround between games. It's straight into Arsenal at the City Ground, and we can forget all about Newcastle, or can we? Welcome to my match preview for Forest versus Arsenal. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to your latest Forest news, or preview in this case. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed as well. And let me know in the comments, would you go with a back three or a back four? It just seems like we all seem to want to switch based on results. Anyway, let's jump into it and let's start with the team news. Nuno's presser is out. I've had a listen to it. I want to know your guys' thoughts on Nuno's pressers, man, because I feel when he first came in, they were fresh, they were energetic and everything. And now it just seems to be the same stuff. All he keeps saying is next game, which is why I asked Frank Clark yesterday about that. And he told me that is how managers think. But I just would like to hear something different. By the way, if you haven't seen that Frank Clark, what an interview it was with the legend. Make sure you go check it out. I'll leave it on the end screen for you guys. The insight is just, I could listen to him all night. Anyway, so injury-wise, he's done the whole Nuno line of we're assessing, which we've learnt to mean it means they're all fit. So he's got a fully fit squad-ish to pick from, as in nothing has changed from the Newcastle match, which is good. He needs his options and his solutions. But the real question is he going to change the shape? And for me, there needs to be a change in shape. For me, it's not between a back three and a back four. It's the midfield. I've been moaning about the midfield. You guys are probably sick of it. I just don't think we have enough bodies in that midfield. And the more I look at it, the more I feel it has to be a midfield three. We can't just keep playing this donut formation, this huge hole in the middle that just allows teams to bypass through our midfield as if it's not there. And then when we have possession, we're just kicking the ball from cells up to Chris Wood and bypassing our own midfield. They can play football, so give them the ball on the ground. It's a huge frustration of mine right now. Maybe you guys agree, maybe you don't. So anyway, so outside of that, there's nothing too much to worry about. In terms of the Arsenal team, they have injuries. They've got their whole strike force out pretty much. They may have to play Moreno up front. And they've got probably their biggest threat is Wanyeri. Arteta said that he should be fit and fine for the game, even though he came off with a knock against West Ham at the weekend. So there's a lot riding on this game. A lot of people are putting the emphasis on Arsenal's mentality. Will Arsenal be able to bounce back? Are they still in a title race? All these kinds of narratives. We'll cover that off a bit later in the video. But let's jump across and do the team sheet and what I expect to happen. Alrighty then, so this was the team that lined up against Newcastle, and is there a possibility that he doesn't change it because of that second half performance? Well, if you base it on what Nuno said, he's not looking at the second half, he's looking at the first half, and I fully agree with him there. That first half was just a pile of crap. It was an embarrassment as far as I'm concerned. Conceding those goals in 11 minutes, not acceptable. He's been assessing the videos, he's been talking about it and fixing those mistakes. I think there will be changes. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to check out our second channel, the Footy Network. I've already got my predictions in for these midweek fixtures, so check that out. It'll be on the end screen as well. What am I doing here? Look, I'll show you what I want to do, then I'll tell you what I'm pretty sure Nuno will do. By the way, no, I haven't seen the team sheet just yet. Dominguez for me has to be dropped. I've had my doubts about him, as I've mentioned to you guys for the last few weeks. I just don't know what he does on the pitch. I'm changing the shape into a 4-3-3. I think we have to do it. I'll keep Anderson on. I thought he was okay. I'm going to bring Sangare in to start. It's about time he started. And then I don't know what I'm doing with the third guy, guys. I know a lot of you are going to say bring Ryan Yates in. There's this whole thing that if players are not playing, then they suddenly become better than they are. I'm not against it, but against Arsenal, I don't know if it's his game. I'll put him in for now, which means I need to drop someone up here. Now, if I'm being honest with you, the person I would drop is Morgan Gibbs-White. I don't think he's been good outside of the Brighton game in the last couple of months. And I actually wouldn't be against that team. Now, hopefully by me saying drop Morgan Gibbs White, one, you're not taking it incorrectly. I'm just saying it for the shape of this 4-3-3 system, because I would like to play with some width here. With Lewis Skelly being suspended, it's probably going to be Calafiori at left back or maybe Zinchenko for Arsenal. And therefore, Elanga needs to get back to the Elanga of around the Christmas time when we were playing the likes of Villa, when he went on this nice little streak of scoring or assisting. Why? Because he was taking on the fullback on the outside, getting to the byline, squaring a ball in for maybe Wood to put it into the back of net, or being at the back post himself to score. So for me, that's something I wouldn't mind seeing this. Now, Morgan Gibbs White is pretty much undroppable because of the hype. He's the poster boy and everything like that. Therefore, can I see that happening? Probably not, to be honest. Could you do something where maybe you don't play Callum Hudson-Odoi and you bring Gibbs White out on the left? Yes. Could you do it so you're playing a double 10? Maybe not Elanga, but Callum Hudson-Odoi next to Gibbs White. Probably switch them around. I just can't bother to do it. And play that narrow kind of Christmas tree formation. Yes, that is another option. I don't really care what he does in the front three, to be honest. For me, as long as he puts three in the middle and solidifies that midfield by adding an extra body, it just makes more sense to me. Now, if you didn't want to play Sangare, who do you replace him for, really would be my question. Is Danilo actually exiled? Is there this beef going on that we've been hearing about? I've got no further updates on it, so I can't tell you. You could put him in, maybe instead of Sangare or Yates. But what I think Nuno's going to do is either he goes to the back three formation, which I don't think he will, but I think he's kind of going to just switch it up in the 6 and the 8. I think he's going to go Sangare and Yates, just to add a little bit of bite and fight in that midfield area. I think that's what you're probably going to see from Nuno. We saw it against Bournemouth. Was it Bournemouth or Wolves when those two were paired up before Sangare got injured? And it wasn't the worst combo, I'll admit to you. And the team did look quite balanced, but that was against opposition that aren't as good as Arsenal. I think this is the team he goes with. And then maybe brings Anderson on as an impact sub. You got Dominguez there to make it into a 3 if you need to, if Forest hopefully are winning. Maybe that's the combo he goes for. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Alright, so I touched on Arsenal and all their issues and everything else about it. But honestly, I don't care about that. Because we have our own issues ourselves that we need to address. Our defense is looking sloppy, if I'm being honest with you. Conceding goals that I don't expect us to concede, especially with M&M in the middle of that pairing. And we have, as I say, our own issues. We've lost 3 out of our last 4 games. Yes, they've all been away. Yes, our last home game was 7-0 against Brighton. But obviously I was there and I was the good luck charm. So what I'm trying to say here is I'm kind of agreeing with Nuno. It doesn't really matter what the opposition are doing, what their mindset is like, etc. We have to play our game and we have to focus on making sure we do the fundamentals and basics right. Keep tight, keep compact at the back, create space in the Arsenal half by suckering them forward and start to use Elanga. Elanga has to be the key in this game. What I would have liked to heard from Nuno in his presser was what he was saying prior to the Brighton match. That clean sheet, impeccable, defensively sound, all this stuff. I've not been hearing that from him. I'm assuming he's doing it internally though, so that's fine. But as long as those messages are being drilled into the players, that is key for me. Yes, it helps that Arsenal lost to West Ham, but some would argue Arsenal played crapper under pressure. And if they were still under pressure of having to win every game, they would more likely crack to Forest. But I just see this whole Arsenal game scenario as I saw what we did in the one where we stayed up 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever it was, where we beat them 1-0. Arsenal came to the City ground knowing they were out of the title race, but it wasn't officially stamped. We beat them 1-0, game over, congratulations to Man City. I see a similar kind of mindset to that. So I know a lot of you want me to predict 0-0 on this one, but I'm not going to do it. I feel Forest will win. I'm going for a 3-1 win to Forest if we get the early lead. If Forest can go 1-0 up, force Arsenal to come out even more. Maybe Forest go 2-0 up, Arsenal get one back, and then Forest get a third on a counter-attack late in the second half. But I don't really care as long as it's 3 points. 3 points is so imperative now with Newcastle playing Liverpool, with Spurs playing Man City. Okay, I'm not talking about Spurs, but they have a good track record against Man City. There is yet another opportunity for Forest to put some more daylight between us and the chasing pack. And we have to get some wins in. We got Man City next after Ipswich in the Cup. And then it starts to ease off a little and we have some more winnable games. I would love us to get 4 points out of these next 2 games, but it would be more important to beat Arsenal than it is to beat Man City, because if we beat Arsenal, and let's say Spurs do us a favour, I mean, who can rely on them? Then when we come to Man City, it could be a 6-point gap, and we just need to maintain that by making sure we don't lose to them and get a draw. But that's for a week and a bit's time from now. So get your score predictions in down below and let me know your thoughts ahead of this game. Also, don't forget, I've got a preview of my mate Hooks over on, it's on this channel, so make sure you check that out as well. You've got the Frank Clark interview to check out, and over on TFN as well, you've got my predictions for these key games that are coming up both tonight and tomorrow and Thursday. If you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you are new here. And we will see you for the game tomorrow night. Come on, you Reds.